Just because the weather has cooled down doesn't mean that we should give up eating salads. But if you're like me and trying to eat more seasonally, the last thing on your mind right now is probably a big plate of raw, crunchy vegetables. So today I'm going to be sharing with you 3 perfectly satisfying fall salads. Each one of these salads you can prep once and eat for a couple of days. They're a perfect combination of flavors and can't wait to share them with you guys. Okay, let's get started with salad number 1, pomegranate-kale salad. For this salad, we'll be using roasted sweet potatoes, so I'm gonna prepare them first. So you're gonna peel about 2 medium-sized sweet potatoes. You're gonna chop them into small cubes, add some extra virgin olive oil, salt, pepper, paprika, and give them a good toss. Place them on a baking sheet and bake at 400 Fahrenheit for about 30 minutes. And while the potatoes are baking, let's assemble our salad. So for this salad, I'm using about 6 cups of Tuscan kale. So I like Tuscan kale or baby kale for this salad because they're the most tender and are best for eating raw in my opinion. First, remove the tough and fibrous stems. These are not good to eat raw, but I'm going to save them and keep them in the fridge for when I make vegetable broth. Thinly slice kale and transfer it into a large bowl. If you've been confused with the whole kale massage situation, I'm going to clear some things up for you. So if you're serving this kale salad right away, I would just splash it with some lemon juice and extra virgin olive oil and give it a good massage. Essentially, you're just going to scrunch the leaves up in between your fingers, and that's going to break down the toughness and cellulose in the kale, making it more palatable, digestible, and a lot more delicious. But because I'm making my salad ahead of time and won't be eating it until tomorrow, I'm not going to massage it. And the dressing I'm going to use will do essentially the exact same thing. Acids like citrus and vinegar, for example, also break down some of the toughness. So if you let it marinate in the dressing for at least a few hours or overnight, your salad will not only be infused with the aromatics from the dressing, but it will also be really tender and absolutely delicious. Speaking of the dressing, let's make it next. We'll be using 1/3 cup of extra virgin olive oil, half a teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of pepper, 1 teaspoon of raw honey, juice of 1 whole lemon, and I'm also going to use 3 tablespoons of pomegranate reduction, also known as pomegranate molasses. Just a quick tip for you guys, when you're choosing your pomegranate molasses, make sure that it's made with 100% pomegranate juice and no added sugar or no added aromas. Pomegranate molasses is very popular in the Mediterranean cuisine. It has a thick and viscous consistency. It's sweet and very sour at the same time. It's about 5 times more concentrated than pomegranate juice. It's also a great source of polyphenols that can protect your body from free radical damage. I'm using a handheld blender to whip this up because I want the consistency to be smooth and creamy, but you can just use a whisk as well. So the sweet potatoes are now ready and I'm going to add them into the salad. I'm also going to be adding seeds of 1 fresh pomegranate and chopped candied pecans. These add really nice texture. They're spicy and sweet and I just love adding them into the salads. I made a detailed video on how to make candied pecans, so just click on the top right corner if you want to see how I make them. Pour the dressing over the salad and give it a toss. I'm going to transfer it into a large jar and keep it in the fridge until tomorrow. Right before serving, add some feta cheese, freshly sliced apple, and avocado. The reason I'm adding the last ingredients right before serving is because I don't want them to get mushy and for apples and avocados to oxidize. Finishing up with a few drops of pomegranate reduction for presentation, and that's it. I usually serve it with my gluten-free flatbread for a lighter meal. I also love it with roasted salmon if I'm looking to get more mileage out of my meal and keep me full for a long time. Okay, moving on to salad number 2, seasonal vegetable salad. This one is full of nourishing vegetables. It's also a really good source of plant-based protein from quinoa and cannellini beans. We'll be using some roasted veggies, so let's go ahead and prep those first. Cut cauliflower and Brussels sprouts into bite-sized pieces. Add some olive oil, salt, pepper, and paprika powder. Make sure you don't overcrowd the pan because if pieces are too close together, they'll end up steaming instead of baking. And we want them to brown and caramelize for more flavor. Bake these at 400 Fahrenheit for about 20 to 25 minutes or until golden and soft inside. Next, we're gonna make our green beans. Add your green beans into lightly salted boiling water and wait for water to boil again. When it does, reduce the heat to low and simmer for 3 to 5 minutes or until they soften. I don't like green beans when they're too soft and mushy, so I keep testing along the way to make sure they're not overcooked. If you want your green beans to be extra firm, crunchy, and vibrant in color, drain the water once they're cooked and plunge them into ice water to stop the cooking process. And while the beans are cooling down, let's whip up a salad dressing. For this dressing, we're going to be using 1/3 cup of olive oil, 2 small cloves of garlic, 2 teaspoons of Dijon mustard, juice of half a lemon, 2 teaspoons of apple cider vinegar, 1 whole peeled pear, and salt and pepper to taste. The pear makes the dressing more creamy and smooth without using cream or cashews. And of course, it blends beautifully with the rest of the ingredients. Give all the ingredients a blitz and voila! You've got an incredibly delicious salad dressing. Okay, our vegetables are cooked through and we're ready to assemble the salad. I'm using 2 cups of cooked quinoa. I cooked it ahead of time to save time. Pat dry your green beans, chop them into bite-sized pieces and add them into the salad along with roasted vegetables. Additionally, add 1 can of rinsed cannellini beans, dried mulberries, and toasted pumpkin seeds. Pour the dressing over it, give it a good mix, and enjoy. You'll be so impressed with the salad. It's full of nourishing veggies. It's got a really nice texture from mulberries and toasted pumpkin seeds. It keeps really well in the fridge, so it's a good one to make ahead of time. You can serve it on its own as it's pretty filling, or with some avocado slices on top. Unlike the kale salads where we wanted to break down the tough kale leaves, I would not put the dressing to marinate overnight. I'd recommend adding it right before you're ready to serve. Okay guys, last but certainly not least, salad number 3, vinaigrette salad. It's one of the staple fall-winter salads in Ukrainian cuisine, and it features one of my favorite vegetables of all time, beets. First things first, we're gonna need some boiled beets, carrots, and white potatoes. While the veggies are cooking, let's work on the rest of our ingredients. Finely chop a few shallots, 3 medium-sized pickles, and add them into a large bowl. I love shallots because they have a sweet and mild flavor. They're not as pungent as white or purple onion, but of course you can substitute for whatever you have on hand. When the vegetables are cooked through and soft, chop them into similar sized cubes and add them into a bowl. Next, add in 1 can of rinsed organic black beans. The dressing for the salad is very simple and is traditionally served with toasted sunflower oil. I find that toasted sesame oil works really well too, so that's what I'm going to be using today. Additionally, add 3 teaspoons of apple cider vinegar and a pinch of salt. Give all ingredients a good mix and enjoy. I usually serve the salad as a side dish, but you can also enjoy it on its own as a lighter meal. Let me know in the comments which one of these salads you're the most excited about recreating. If you're brand new to this channel, consider subscribing for more content just like this. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.